That's why I harp on hard work all the time. And it's not just you showing up 2-3 days out of the week and just saying, I'm gonna bust my ass today. No, the shit has to be consistent. Like it has to be just part of your day. I'm not saying don't take a fucking day off here or there, when you fucking need it, but just note that the consistent hard work and all the lessons that you learn about yourself, about the things that you're putting yourself through to get to your goals, it's gonna come up at some time. And when that opportunity comes, will you be ready for it? Or will you not be? And it's gonna come back from that hard work. Fortune favors the prepared.
If I did this for the money, would've gave up long ago. It's the passion and the drive buried deep down in my soul. It's ambition, I'm too hungry, I ain't never getting full. On a mission, it's a battle, locked and loaded, bulletproof.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Legion Built Podcast.
What up?
We're the podcast Island Boys that tell you about our journey, about our lessons that we learned along our journey to help you on yours. So today is episode 10, and we're going to do a little bit different today. Today is going to be a little bit of some storytelling, some stories that more like experiences that have happened to me that played a big role in my mindset and the way I see hard work. I haven't even told Mark these stories yet, so he is here.
He's been holding out on me. I've been trying to get the information, but he didn't tell me.
Yeah, I wanted to hold out, and I wanted him to hear it, along with you guys, because these are probably some of the biggest experiences to me that have proven my belief in why consistent hard work matters. There's going to be two stories. I'll tell the first one that happened. I mean, it's probably chronological. It happened. The one that happened to me earliest, and then the one that happened to me in my career in the Army.
So first step.
Huh?
So I said, first step.
So I'm going to start off with this. So when I was in high school, I had a great teacher that I didn't recognize as great as he is until, going through what I had to go through and, just growing up and maturing. And every time we left his classroom, he always told us once the bell rang, what's the class motto? Class motto was, fortune favors the prepared. We always said it every day, as kids, as high school students, we just say it. We don't really know what it means.
Yeah.
We haven't had enough life experience to really understand it. And until this day, me and my wife still say it. We still say it to each other when we mess up on things, when we obviously don't prepare for certain situations that we should be prepared for. We tell ourselves the same. We tell it to each other all the time. Fortune favors the prepared. All right. So even though, the reason why, I think, a lot of people think that luck plays such a huge role in becoming successful, getting the things you want, whether it's money, goals, within your work, your job, anything athletically, stuff like that. A lot of people think that it's luck, but luck doesn't matter unless you're prepared for that opportunity. And for you to be prepared for that opportunity, the hard work, the consistent hard work has to play a role. It's probably the biggest role, so that you are prepared for that. So into that, the first story. Everybody knew back home, back in Saipan, that baseball was my first true love. Like, I did everything for baseball. I wanted my grades to be good in high school because of baseball, because I wanted to go play college baseball. I made every decision pretty much based off my dream of playing baseball and putting Saipan on the map for baseball players. That was my first dream. And I was actually I got an opportunity to go to New Zealand for a baseball camp held by Seattle Mariners scout, and he ran the whole Oceania region. So I went out to New Zealand, trained with them. I guess I did, pretty good, where he was able to share my name out to a junior college coach. Me and my buddy, actually, who was 1 year older and went before I did. But he shared our names to this baseball coach in Oregon. So I was able to go out and play baseball in Oregon for a junior college. Now, the one thing that I think people thought when I left Saipan to go play baseball over there was that I got a scholarship. I never got a scholarship. I had to walk onto that team and actually try out and try and make that team. And that my whole senior year, because I already knew that this was going to happen, that was my plan. I was going to move out to Oregon to go play at this school. I trained my ass off. I did everything that I had to do. I played ball all year. I worked out. I lifted weights. I ran extra, did all of that. So I get to Oregon. First thing, there's a lot that goes into going from living on Saipan on a small island to living in Oregon or living in the States for the first time. I mean, there's so many things that played a role that, me and my family that moved out with me, we weren't prepared for, but, we went through it. We just went through it. So when I go out to these tryouts, like I said, I think it was the last podcast, a couple podcasts ago, there's about 60 plus guys out there, right? And I felt I was pretty talented. I felt that, I was pretty confident in, how hard I worked and my ability to play the game. But I learned very quickly that these guys that I was trying to make this team against were very good and they knew the game very well. Now, one of the things that, I realized was that I had raw talent, or I was fast, I had a good arm, and I mean, I could hit decently, not with power like some of these guys, because they're big guys. Like I said, I was one of the smallest guys on that team. But I was not prepared for the mental part of the game. There's a lot of things that I didn't know about baseball before going there. There's a lot of things back on the island that we weren't taught. And it's just really about really playing the game of baseball. Just a lot of the little things. So I had a huge learning curve to overcome because of that. So luckily I had the raw talent where I could make up for it with speed, having a good arm and, having a decent, stick. But I was already below the curve. Like I needed to make up for that curve. And the only way I knew how was by working my ass off. That's the only way I knew how. I showed up to practice every day early. I got in extra reps, ground balls, got in extra reps in the batting cages every day. And like I said before too, I was able to, because I was a pitcher and an infielder, I had to practice twice a day. Like I practiced with these two different groups. So I practiced with the pitchers, doing long distance and doing, the pitching drills. And then I do the night stuff with, the skill players or the infielders, and the outfielders and stuff like that. A lot of foot drills, stuff like that, compared to the long distance running and stuff with pitchers. Now, there was a time where I just felt like I was so behind that I didn't think I was going to make this team, man. Like it was really, really rough. Like I was already along with the issues that we were having, personally, like outside of baseball, there was already enough going on in baseball that was telling me that I was probably just not good enough, like to go against these guys that I was playing against. I was too far behind and I had too much to learn to catch up to them. And I got to the point where I was even telling my family that, I think I'm done. Like, I don't think I can make this team. And, but the thing was that I had all of them come out to the States with me.
Yeah.
All of them came out with me because they believed in my dream. they believed in me. They knew that I was going to work for it, and they believed that I could do it because they wouldn't come out here if they didn't think I could,
Yeah.
And believe me, there's a whole group of, and it's just because of all the stuff that was going on, at that time. But because I owed it so much to them, and because I owed it so much, I felt, to my island, I pushed, didn't quit, and it was just hard to believe that I was gonna quit, quit something like that. That's all I knew. I knew just baseball, and I loved the game, but just kept going. Practice with pitchers, practice with infielders, did everything I had to do. And then I find out that I actually had to redshirt that year. So like I was on the team, but not on the team. So basically I'm practicing and stuff like that, but I wasn't, I had a jersey and everything, but I wasn't really going to be playing at all. Like I wasn't, when the team traveled, I wasn't going to travel with them. I'd have to sit out on road trips and stuff like that. So, that really killed me. And I remember also, telling my really good buddy about this that came out with me. And it hurt, man. Like it fucking hurt that I brought them out here and he knew and he saw how much I had to bust my ass for it, but it wasn't going the way I planned. But this is where opportunity comes in. All that hard work, right? All that hard work, and you don't make it. But this opportunity came up. So the team was going on like a 3 or 4 day road trip, right? They're going to go out to a tournament, play a tournament, and one of the pitchers got sick the night before, right? So one of the pitchers got sick and called the coach and told him that he couldn't make the trip. I get the call. Now, getting the call is one thing. They say I can go on this trip with them, right? And because they need another pitcher. I'm just going to pitch. I'm not going to play infield, do not anything like that. They need an extra pitcher because that's all he did. He was just a pitcher. And they needed an extra pitcher to fill the roster. So I get to go on this trip. Now, we get up to this tournament, and I think it was somewhere in Eastern Oregon or Eastern Washington. But I go to this tournament, and I'm dressed. We're ready to go. I'm warming up. And the one big thing that really like messed me up, just coming from Saipan all the way out here was the cold. The cold, playing baseball with wood bats and just holding a ball, like it's just your hands are freezing and stuff like that. Well, for this game, starting pitcher, I think it was around the 4th, 5th inning. Starting pitcher was getting, kind of, it was about his time to come out. They tell me to warm up. I go warm up, and it was cold out there, and it was really freaking cold. And in those areas where it's just flat and the wind is just blowing through there, cold air just blowing through there. It's almost like a desert area. Yeah. So I'm warming up, and I just noticed I just get warm quick. My adrenaline is flowing, man. This is one of my first games. Like I haven't played with these guys because I was a redshirt. I wasn't really like on the team like that. So I warm up. I get warm quick. My adrenaline's running. I'm sweating already, and just warming up. But I felt fucking good, bro. Like my arm felt so damn good. I felt like with how cold it was and how I usually feel in the cold, I did not expect what I was feeling, So they pull the pitcher and I go in. And I'm throwing hard, bro. Like everything just felt on point. And we go basically three straight outs when I come in. And then I think I only threw 1 or 2 innings for that game. I didn't stay in there very long. I threw 1 or 2 innings, something like that. Did my job, did my part as a middle relief guy. So, because I was also an infielder, in the next game in that tournament, coach wanted to put me out second base. but he brought me in to pinch hit first. We were down in that game, I think, by 1. And we had, I think, runners on second and third. I come up to hit, and, before this, the confidence is at a certain level just because of, I haven't played the field very much, and I haven't hit against all these other pitchers very much. But I go up knowing that I put the work in. I took those extra batting cage sessions. I did all of the work that I'm supposed to do. I never slacked when it came to that. There's runners on second and third. We're down by 1 in that game. I hit a shot down the third base line, score those 2 runs, and we take the lead. And my coach goes fucking crazy, bro. He goes crazy. Because a lot of times when you bring in guys, you don't expect, you hope for the best when they come in, when you bring them in. But you don't expect that.
Yeah.
And hitting the ball that hard down the fucking line from one of the smallest guys on your team, I just feel just gave even my coach some hope. Now, after that weekend, after having such a good weekend, we won that game too. After having a good weekend, both on pitching side and, playing on the field and hitting and everything, I was put on the team. I was now more of a utility player. Obviously, I played third base. I played second base. In Saipan, I played shortstop majority of the time, but we had a all-conference shortstop, Hawaiian dude that was just a fucking monster. It's my boy Kyle, but he was just a monster. So I wasn't getting that spot, and I didn't think I was ready for it either. But the thing about it was, if I quit right when I felt like I just wasn't gonna make it, I would have never got the opportunity. My sophomore year, I became the starting shortstop. So, with all this shit that I was thinking before that, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for this. It was too much coming from where we come from. Yeah. It was just too much. I didn't learn these things, all these years playing back home. But it was the work that I put in, it's the belief in myself because of the work. For all that time, man. Believe me, there's so much doubt that's creeping into you when you're around these many good players. There can be so much doubt in your head. But if you just show up, you put in the work, that is what can come from it. I became the starting shortstop for this team. Never even thinking that could happen. After seeing the quality of players that were on those teams, or on that team that I played, and against the other teams that we played, I became the starting shortstop. I was really proud of it, and I think that my family was too, everybody that came out with me. But, shit happens. And I ended up getting injured that year. It was an injury that was just nagging that affected everything I did playing the game. Yeah. So I bruised my muscle in my hand, so I couldn't hold the ball, couldn't throw the ball, couldn't hold a bat. I fought through it, believe me. I fought through it. I tried to play as much as I could, but it just never stopped. It wouldn't go away. And I didn't want to sit out and let it heal. I just wanted to keep trying to play through it.
Push through it.
Yeah, because I started off the season, I think I was leading off or hitting second in the lineup or something. I started off the season leading the team in RBIs, in hits. And back to the consistent hard work. That's where that comes from. It doesn't come from just having the raw skill, the raw talent. It won't come from that. Yeah. Because if you get around other people that just have that talent and that skill, but you're so behind because of just the education level to the technical part of the game, to not knowing how the game goes, then
you're going to need that work to get there.
Exactly.
To match or...
You have to, because it's the experience that's going to teach you all that. I'm telling you, just like infield drills, just knowing where to hit the ball, when in different situations, knowing what's needed. It's not just going up doing whatever you want, and every time. It's not that. Yeah. So I had to learn that. I had to learn, and I had to work through all of that. Consistent hard work. Every day showed up, ready to work, busting my ass. I wanted to be the fastest. Like I knew what I had to be. I knew what I had to do for that team. I had to be the fast guy. I had to be the situational guy. I had to be the good glove in the middle of the field guy. That's my job. That was my job. And I busted my ass to do that. So I made that team. Now, second story. So, transitioning, I've had quite a few like major transitions, right? So from dreams that I've had or goals that I've had. Now, baseball was my biggest goal probably of all time.
Yeah.
But that didn't work out. So we transition. We find the next thing that drives me, drives my passion, right? And it's always been about the bigger purpose. So, I joined the Army a couple years later. It's not like right after college, right? But joined the Army, and I was stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas, right? And my big goal was I wanted to make sergeant in 2 years. It's kind of hefty, kind of quick.
I was gonna say I don't know what that.
So
is that a hefty order?
Yeah,
order. I mean,
typically like in my MOS range, like people make it 3 to 5 years. 3, 4 or 5 years. But I wanted to do it in 2. Now, when I was in Kansas, I set myself up. I knew everybody. I did my jobs. My team leaders could rely on me when I was, just a private. I learned everything I had to learn. I learned not everything I had to learn, but I learned as much as I could. Anytime I had opportunity to learn, took those opportunities. Studied my ass off, busted my ass in PT every day. And, just put in the work daily. Came in with a consistent attitude, trying, and then always trying to help, my guys out in my platoon as much as I could from what I knew. Now, and if I stayed in Fort Riley during that time, I felt like I could have hit that goal, right? In 2 years. But I got the opportunity to re-enlist, and I was able to come to Fort Lewis. And I wanted to come back to Washington pretty bad with all the family here. Yeah. Everybody was, here out. It's like I get best of both worlds. I get the Army and I get to be around all my family. So passed that up, said, I'll go back. I can wait. I can push it back a little bit. So I came to Fort Lewis. The unit that I get to, they just got back from deployment probably 2-3 months before I got there. So after doing all the inventory stuff like that usually happens, start going out to the field again. And like I said, I was put in a platoon that was just full of beasts, man. Like a lot of guys knew this shit. They were just studs at PT. Like I said, like 95% of that platoon was just a bunch of monsters. So I had to meet that standard. That's why being around those kind of people, it's gonna up your levels. And who you said, whatever your environment is, you're gonna move yourself up to whatever level that is, or move yourself down to whatever level that is. So just make sure like one of those things. Just be aware of your environment and what you surround yourself with, because you will become that. So I kept up with these guys, did my thing, and started going out for training again. Because after units come back, they kind of settle down a little bit, inventory, stuff like that. Training kind of slows. Started going back out for training a couple months later. I think it was during the summer. And, I'm one of those guys where I knew like my peers respected me, but at the same time, these guys deployed at that time. I did not, and a lot of times when they go and they get sent overseas, they guys can look at you a certain way because you didn't do what they did. But it came down to whether I believed in myself or not. But I put in the work, like I said before. I did a bunch of exercises. Did a bunch of drills. I did everything I had to do to that point to try and learn as much as I could. So we go out to this. We have a live fire exercise, 2 or 3 day deal, right? And when we get out there, both of the team leaders in my section were injured. 2 sergeants injured. We didn't have a sergeant to run our team, to run our fire team, right? So I get told that I'm running the team through this live fire exercise. And, you know, the first thing that comes through my mind is, are these guys going to listen to me? Are they going to respect, you know, what, you know, I'm about to, you know, have to lead them through, you know? But when it comes to that, you know, even though I have that kind of doubt in my mind and like wondering, are these guys even gonna, like, you know, believe in what the hell I'm doing? Like, why would they believe in me? They just came from overseas. I didn't go with them.
Yeah.
You know, they have the experience, right? That's what in their head, that's what they would say. And I just said, you know, I've done these things before. I've done live fire exercises. I've done the, you know, mount training, which is like just urban, you know, urban training where, you know, you're clearing rooms and stuff like that. We've done that live fire exercises. I've done the drills where you're going through, you know, different phases of operations and just, you know, I've been part of teams doing that. Never led it before,
Right.
but I've been part of it. And then, like I said, I'm taking every opportunity to learn. So when I'm doing that, if my goal is to become a sergeant and become, you know, a leader of a team, I need to be watching what my leaders are doing.
Yeah.
So if I watch what they're doing, when my time comes, I can be prepared for them, right? So this came up. I took charge of it. Like, that's just what it is. You can take charge or you can be scared and set yourself up for failure. Took charge of it, did the best that I could, right? That's all you can do. Do the best that you can. Took charge of it, went through the first, you know, I basically set up the operation order, op order, briefed that to the team, how we're going to maneuver, you know, the whole execution phase of it, everything. Commander's intent, everything gets put out there. It's a long brief. Set up, you know, the terrain models, stuff like that, you know, just briefing the whole plan to these guys, right? And that's, like I said, this at that time I was a specialist. I was a E4, and these are things that are sergeant and above level. Like, it's not my level, but if that's what I want to be, it's just what I got to do. Yeah. So we do all that. Go dry fire, day, night. It's one day. Second day, we go blanks, day, night. The third day, they know that you know what you're doing. You're aware, you know, of the situation. Everybody's safe, right? Live rounds in your weapons. And we're about to go through the, through the whole, you know, scenario, the whole exercise. And before we go out, on the night, we already did the day, right? Day run went smooth. It was clean. Did our thing. Before the night run, this is the hardest one, right? Just because communicating without, you know, you can't see, like, you know, using night vision. You're communicating through night vision goggles, through IR stuff. You're communicating through the radio, can't see stuff. You're navigating on a map that, you know, you can barely see, right? So,
crazy.
So before we go out, find out Sergeant Major and Squadron Commander are going to be following us through our run.
Pressure.
The pressure is on, right? And like I said, I'm a specialist, man. Like, this is usually I'm just on the team, and I followed orders. Now I have to lead this team through it, right? So we're going through this whole thing, and we fucking kill it, bro. My team was just on point with me. You know, I think through all the other runs, they built trust. They knew that I knew what I was doing, you know? And we go through there, and I remember the whole situation, like when we started to break contact. Like, I was calling up reports on the radio, and I had my M4 sitting on a log, and I'm firing rounds downrange, like while I'm calling reports.
Like multitasking.
Yeah, like multitasking, like getting teams to move while I'm calling reports, and I'm firing my weapon as well. The shit was fucking on point. And it was fun. It was just fun, right?
Yeah.
And it was us just comfortable doing what we're doing what we do. Like, this is what we train for, or this is why we train. It's fun, and we're learning, right?
Yeah.
So we break contact, we get back, clear all the weapons, stuff like that. And Squadron Commander Sergeant Major come shake my hand and congratulate me on getting my team through safely and running a good operation, right? That weekend, or that Friday before we get dismissed, I get called up in front of the whole squadron.
Oh, shit.
I get called up from the whole squadron after that training event.
Yeah.
And it was to be coined and congratulated from the squadron commander and the sergeant major. So, going back to doubt, we go back to doubt. We go back to why you do the work so that you are prepared for opportunities like this, right? In the moment when you get told to do that, it might seem shitty.
Scary.
It's scary. Yeah. You don't know what to expect. You especially if you've never done it before, right?
Yeah.
But you have to believe in all the hard work that you did, because all that hard work, everything, you're going to fall back on everything that you've done. And if you keep hiding away from the work, you have nothing to fall back on. Nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
Through all the work, you learn more and more about yourself. You learn more and more about whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever goal it is you're trying to reach. You learn more and more. You keep educating yourself and learning lessons so that you can do or not do whatever you need to do for that goal or objective, right?
Yeah.
So because of that whole situation, remember my whole goal of reaching sergeant in 2 years? Well, about 3 months later, after that exercise, I go into the 2 months later, I go into the promotion board. Sergeant Major remembers me.
Oh, snap.
So, it just came down to him knowing that I can do the job already, right? I have other first sergeants in there, and obviously they knew and from what I was told, the Sergeant Major introduced me for my team leader instead of my team leader introducing, because I'm standing outside the room. He went in, and obviously Sergeant Major already knew that who my team leader was. So what I was told was that Sergeant Major cut off my team leader. He introduced me, who was coming in, to the other first sergeants, or to the first sergeant that were in there. So went into the promotion board, did my thing, crushed it. I did answer one question pretty stupid, but I won't talk about that. But it was funny. But
Is it like an interview process?
Yeah, they ask you a bunch of regulation questions, stuff like that, leadership questions and everything. And it's a panel thing. And I come out and I get promoted in the next month. So
Dang.
I didn't make my goal of making sergeant in 2 years, but it was cool because I was able to come home. I was able to come to Washington and, be with the family and stuff like that.
At least you had a goal to shoot toward.
Yeah,
instead
for sure.
of just going at it aimlessly.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. So I made sergeant in 2.5 years, and I was still pretty happy about that. With making the move and having to reestablish myself in a new place. It's not always easy. It's not always the easiest thing to do that, because you come to a new place and you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I say you don't know what to expect. You don't know the people around. You don't know the unit. But if you're always doing the right things, if you're always consistently doing the right things to put yourself in a good place, where there's no way they can think negative. You got what can they say? You work hard, you know your job, you're always willing to help. There's nothing you can, you can't not believe in what this person in front of you that's like that. But yeah, I made sergeant 2.5 years. I made it there. After only being there for a couple months, I was able to reestablish myself very quickly and, make that new goal, which was really, and that's why I harp on hard work all the time. And it's not just you showing up 2-3 days out of the week and just saying, I'm gonna bust my ass today. No, the shit has to be consistent. Like, it has to be just part of your day. I'm not saying don't take a fucking day off here or there, when you fucking need it, but just just know that the consistent hard work and all the lessons that you learn about yourself, about the things that you're putting yourself through to get to your goals, it's gonna come up at some time. And when that opportunity comes, will you be ready for it, or will you not be? And it's gonna come back from that hard work. Fortune favors the prepared. If you're not ready for the opportunity, it's just not gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
If you always put in the work. Once that opportunity comes, you can throw yourself right into it. You can make it happen because you've done the work. If you didn't, you'd probably just look like an asshole because
crash and burn.
Yeah, and that's why I preach about it so much, just because of these. And these aren't the only two things that have ever happened to me, but these are the ones that sit the most with me because they're very big parts of my life.
Yeah,
and I really wanted to just tell these stories because we do have people that are in the military that listen to this. We do have people that are athletes that listen to this. But this applies and translates to everything.
mm-hmm.
To everything. That's why it applies to everything that I do outside of, whatever sports or, the military. It applies to everything. Everything that I do, I know that if I just consistently put in the work, when that opportunity comes, I'm going to be ready for it. It's a lot like when people win the lottery. You get all this money. They went from broke as hell to getting all this money. What happens within 5 years?
Bro,
they're broke again because they were never prepared for that kind of money. And because it's not just about having money, it's about how do you use that money, not just to make you more money, but just to actually utilize that money to put yourself and your family in a better place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And how to really, really use that money to create more resources, create more tools to build yourself so that you can have more for your family and more for everybody around you. And if you don't prepare for these opportunities and put in the work consistently, when that opportunity comes to help you reach your goal, you just won't be ready for it. Yep. That's the stories, guys. And like I said, these are just two big experiences that I have that I always think about, that just go back to what my high school teacher used to tell us all the time, or tell us what our class motto was. Fortune favors the prepared. Preparation is key to a lot of things, and I try to make sure that I'm prepared for whatever it is that may come up, whether it be in the business, whether it be in fitness, whether it be in fatherhood, being a husband. If you are the best version of yourself, or you're working towards being the best version of yourself, you can be prepared for a lot of things, a lot of situations, a lot of problems that may come into your life that you can basically put to extinct because of the person that you are, the best version of yourself. And we hope that you can work towards that. You got anything, bro?
No, great stories.
Well,
and I said this in the other podcast. Those things, like you said, your motto, all those things you hear all the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a cliche, but a lot of them are true. You just gotta, you gotta really step back and really understand. So, but I like it.
Yeah. So that was storytelling day, guys.
Story time with AJ.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, two experiences in my life that are really important to me, have really set my mindset, because I'll never forget those experiences, right?
People might think kind of how you are today is just from stuff that just happened recently, but no, it goes deeper, it goes further back than that. So that's a good little background.
Yeah, because and that's another thing, because people might think that I just up and changed who I was. Like
it's always been there.
Yeah, I've people that know me and have known me for a long time. They know that that's just, it's always sat with me. The consistent hard work has always sat with me. Anybody back when I played ball in Saipan, they know the same thing. And I'm not telling these stories to or talking about what's happened to me just because I want to talk about myself. Like, I'm really telling these stories so that
for other people
to understand.
Learn from.
Yeah, learn from these. Like, that's why we say we're telling our stories, telling our experiences to help other people on their journeys, because those things have helped us. Those things have helped me dramatically, because of, I could be in a totally different place if I didn't go through these things, and if I didn't learn from these things. You can go through a lot of shit, but if you don't take the lessons from those experiences, just like when Dyson was on here, he said the same thing, right? You got to take from those experiences, take the lessons, and apply it. You actually have to apply it, because you can do whatever, you can go through a bunch of stuff, but if you keep repeating the same mistakes, you're never going to change, or you're never going to change the outcome of the situations. So this is why we tell our stories, so that you and anybody listening you already heard the outcome of how we've put in the work, or somebody's done this to get to a certain outcome. And that's what we want to help everybody, as much as we can, with the stories and lessons that we, go through. And that's what we're trying to do today. So yeah, that's episode 10, guys. It's a little bit different today, but we hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't yet, please go back, check out, the last podcast with IMJ Red 670. He came on, told his story, and it was pretty deep. With
just bear with the audio a little bit, because
because technical difficulties, but if you guys enjoyed this episode, please help us, share and help more people. If we can get more, more of the message out and help more people, that's really our goal, is help as many people as we can. And please subscribe, like, share the episode, whether it's on Spotify or through YouTube, whatever you can do. Let's help people, let's do that, and we got to all do that together. Better individuals make a better world. So we all have to do that together. Thank you guys for joining us. See you guys on the next one.